Hi guys, Wednesday, December 9th, 2020. Freddie B here with you. Thank you for joining me, my friends. A day that will live in infamy. December 7th, 2020 is when the state of Texas sued, I believe, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin over election fraud. Now, will it change anything? Probably not. So why would you want to do it? Well, here's what's interesting. When a state sues a state, the court of original jurisdiction is, guess what? The United States Supreme Court. So it immediately has to be heard by the court if they choose to hear it, which I believe they will. Now, I don't think they'll make a ruling prior to December 14th. I think they'll listen to both sides, and I think that's why nothing will change. The Electoral College will vote, and Joe Biden will be elected president-elect on December 14th, after the College of Electors puts him on the ballot. The Court of Original Jurisdiction goes back to before the Constitution, just so you know. And it had to do with, a lot of times, mostly boundary disputes between states. So during the Continental Congress, they used the Congress as a court of last resort, but then when they did the Constitution and they created the Supreme Court, that part of the judiciary, if we're better, I don't know. Anyway, they became the court of last resort. And for the first 60 years, basically what the Supreme Court did when states sued states, mostly it was over boundary disputes. There's a great book out there called How the States Got Their Shapes. It's worthy of a read. I guarantee you. Loved it. It's great. I believe it was also a Discovery Channel mini-series or whatever, but extremely well done on the Discovery Channel. But the book is fascinating. When you look at a map, and you see where Massachusetts has a little hook, and where some states don't actually follow the correct parallel, they might curve up or down a bit, or why Illinois and Michigan and Ohio and that whole Toledo area. Very, very interesting stuff when the states got their shape. So mostly it had to do with boundary disputes. The court of last resort was the Supreme Court. So in instances where states are suing other states for other reasons, the Supreme Court becomes the court of original jurisdiction, meaning you don't have to go through a state court, an appellate court, and appeals to get there. They are indeed the court. So kind of cool and kind of interesting that this could happen. Now, will it change anything? I don't think it'll change a darn thing, and I'll tell you two reasons why. First of all, John Roberts. John Roberts has pretty much proven that since he was on the D.C. Court of Appeals, more important to John Roberts is he and his wife's social status within the Washington, D.C. elite. When he was a federal judge, he got invited to all the good Christmas parties, hung out with the senators and the congressmen and stuff. As a federal judge, he had that kind of gravitas, if you will, that got him invited to a lot of these things. So when he was appointed by President Bush to be a member of the Supreme Court, and then William Rehnquist died, and remember that he was going to replace Sandra Day O'Connor as a Associate Justice. William Rehnquist died, and George W. Bush says, well, as long as I've got you appointed, why don't I make you Chief Justice? And he went through the congressional or the Senate hearing process and everything, and he was granted that and became the Chief Justice. He gets to determine whether court cases are heard or not, I believe. I'm not a lawyer. So, excuse me. So, but if they listen to this case and everything, whether they have a up or down vote will come after Biden or Harris or whomever. Either it's going to be mail order Joe or Camel Toe will be president, and you can't undo that. I don't believe it would. First of all, so there's reason one. Reason two is riots in the streets, burning down the Taco Bells, which would be abhorrent to me. and destroying our cities. Because if the Supreme Court should act now, even though Al Gore took 37 days in the courts, act now, then you would have so many problems in inner cities and states. You literally would have cities burning down. And you just can't have that. You would have such civil it would be terrible. So those are my thoughts on why. I think Texas has a point. I think they'll make the argument that these states did not follow their own rules, therefore their votes take away the Equal Protection Clause, if I remember correctly from hearing this from other sources, again, not an expert, it dilutes the Texas vote if these guys manipulate their own state elections. And so that is the basis by which they are suing, which is incredibly interesting to me, and I hope to give you a follow-up on it. So, you may not hear that on CNN, MSNBC, MSDNC, or even Fox now, unless you listen to Tucker Carlson. Other than that, there's nobody on Fox anymore. They're all running for their jobs. They because of what's happened. Fox is unfortunately, they've lost their, they were bent to the conservative side. They said they were straight up and narrow. I love a lot of the guys on Fox News, but they're very hard to listen to. So, my thoughts on Fox. OAN's pretty good. Believe it or not, RT-TV, which is Russian TV, is not bad either. They're obviously they're skewed toward the Russian side. So anyway, that's the interesting thing I find. Now, I missed December 7th. Obviously, you never want to forget that day, December 7, 1941, when the Japanese, who are our friends now, were not our friends, they were our enemy, and they bombed Pearl Harbor. I watched a really, really interesting thing on television the other day that said that a lot more than one person probably knew what was happening and did nothing and wanted to get us into that war. Amazing how you would play with so many millions of people's lives when you're not the one taking the bullets. Don't you agree? So, nonetheless, what else is going on? Tiring, beautiful, beautiful day here in southern Florida. Cold. It's like 46 degrees and sunny. It's the kind of day you love. Now, if you like these kind of days, we don't get them too often here, but I'm going to tell you something that's really neat. So, if you get up into the night sky and you look towards the west at about 7 o'clock, you're going to see Saturn and you're also going to see Jupiter. Jupiter being brighter, I believe. And they are converging. They're coming together and they keep coming together. And on the 21st, they are going to look like one big star. First time this happened in about 2,000 years. Interesting, isn't it? So think about that. About 2,000 years ago, this happened again too. So it only happens, I guess, every 2,000 years. 2,000 years ago, this might have been the star in the east for the Magi or whoever that were looking. Don't know. Don't know if it went east since you got to look west to see it. But nonetheless, this is a very, very neat occurrence. And you can watch it on a very, very crisp, clear night. And please give yourself a chance to go see that. So, anyhow, what else? Thanks for listening. Good to see you. Hope to see you again. Hey, if you like what you heard, just, hit the subscribe button. Need some help. Obviously, there's another subscriber. Just kidding. It's somebody yelling at me. It is. And so that means I got to go. Have a great, great day. Hit the subscribe button. I'll talk to you later. Ta-ta for now.